Hi, thank you. My name is Kirsten Garcia, and this is my informative speech. These are my index cards I will be using. And this is my audience. At this time, I have my best friend and her significant other via Zoom, as well as anyone who may want to join. I have my godmother here as well as my son. Thank you. All right, so this is a poll done, as well as studies by Harvard EDU, that the world's population has doubled. And at this rate, there will be about 100 billion people on Earth by the next century. At this time, we only sit under 8 billion. And even at 8 billion, today we see severe poverty and hunger worldwide. Scientists and contributors think they may have a solution to this: genetically modified organisms. Many see or hear GMO or GMO-free and don't quite know what to think about the things surrounding it. Although we can alter the DNA of some organisms, the question stands, should we? And today we're going to look at the information needed to understand that, and if they should progress with this. Today we will also see the need for supply and aid across the globe, the pros, cons, and studies done on bioengineered food, as well as what we can consider good for us, and if we should continue consuming and funding this for our future. I've done research for the past 10 years for my family, and today I'm going to give you some information needed so you can choose the outcome for your family, as well as the global economy and health. Engineered foods are almost in every home, but only half of consumers know enough information to make a conscious decision if we should continue consuming. So, what are genetically modified organisms? The FDA defines it as a plant, animal, or microorganism that has had its DNA changed using technology involving specific modification of DNA. Genes can be transferred from one to another. This does include animal to plant. Although GMOs are vague in context, they exist in almost every food unless verified GMO-free. We can find them in our breads, we can find them in our cereals, we can find them in our drinks, our fast food restaurants. This does include places like McDonald's and Whataburger. And now that we have an understanding of what these processed foods are, we can understand the debate surrounding them and how they change the DNA of humanity, and whether or not this is healthy. Skeptics and independent studies have shown that GMOs have been putting human health at risk. 60 countries have banned GMOs or require clear and obvious labels for the consumers. Companies, however, have fought off GMO labeling, and in the United States, they have actually won in certain states here. The FDA makes no significant difference and says that it is healthy to consume, saying that it's no different from non-bioengineered foods. Monsanto admitted signs and defects on female rats' weights done in a controlled group study. Rather than being alarmed by this, it was deemed as unnecessary information. That's an example of the shortcomings meant when doing the studies of these things and regarding them to actual human health. The correlation found between these diseases and the increased use of genetically modified crops shows that an overconsumption of them leads to strokes, diabetes, autism, dementia, certain cancers, and much more we see an increase of in human population today. Now that we've seen the negativity transpired, let's see everything it is beneficial for. MedlinePlus.gov says that GMOs have longer shelf life and help with cost reduction. Not only are these foods cheaper, but they are modified to be more nutritious. This is beneficial for poor communities around the world as well as third world countries. Not only can we ship these food items to them, but they as well can enjoy the nutritious benefactors. The demands of GMOs are high, and 90% of America's corn is genetically modified. And we do see corn syrup and cornstarch in practically every item on the food shelf. Here is a graph done as to where the profits for GMOs are being currently out of, and their demand for them. So, people are saying that they're getting these severe allergic reactions from GMOs, but it turns out that scientists have actually pinpointed the proteins produced out of these plants and can decipher whether they are allergens or not. A controlled rat study was done over 5 generations of rats, and in this study, one group was given GMO potatoes and the other not. Results showed that there was no significant difference between them, proving no inheritance of toxicity. I know I wish I had someone telling me about these things when I had no clue what I was eating every day. It is best to know than to not, so we aren't ignorant of the truth. Truth is empowering, and I hope I've given you some strength so that you can have control over the future if you can help it. I hope you feel more informed of genetically modified organisms and can begin to look into it on your own. We've reviewed the demands for bioengineered foods. We've studied pros and cons surrounding genetically modified organisms, and now we can take decisions into our own hands as to which path deserves our funding and support. Let's ask ourselves after today. Even though the DNA of organism structures can be altered, should we? Or is humanity limiting itself by not completely producing GMOs at a full global spectrum? Thank you so much.